right, so I am back, and this is Mrs. Anna's virtual classroom once again. I'm here because I wanted to show you how to recheck your work when you're trying to do problems where you are adding like fractions. And in particular, I wanted you to get better at rechecking when you're using a model to recheck. Because in class, I've always said, hey, just go to your kitchen and find stuff. You can find stuff all over your house that you can use. So, just in case your family needs all their kitchen stuff and they say, no, you can't use any of our stuff from the kitchen, I have scanned this and put this fraction strip worksheet into Google Classroom for you. And what you do is you print about 3 of these if possible. I also gave a virtual fraction website if you can't print right now. I gave a little website where you can just go to a site and get virtual stuff going. Anyway, if you can get this actually printed, print 3 and then color code them. So after you print them, cut them out carefully, and before you cut them out, color each one a different color so that like your whole is maybe a solid blue and then these are yellow, and make them all different and cut them out very carefully because we can use them again and again for future lessons. This is going to sound really basic today, but it's going to come in handy, this idea of using models when we want to compare fractions. All right, so again, find this in Google Classroom. All right, so what you try to do when you're using a model is try to think about, hey, what do I know in my world that has thirds? Okay, if I'm trying to check 1/3 plus 2/3, these two like fractions because they have the same denominator there, how do I check it using models? And so go to your brain and say, what do you know about the world and what comes in thirds? Here's the tile where I've already got a cardboard version here, and these gray ones represent 1/3 and the blue represents a whole. So I grabbed 2 of these because, first they say 1/3. So this is my 1/3, and then I place it down and I just sort of play with them. It's kind of fun. And then I take that 2/3 and I put it with the 1/3, and I see, does that indeed line up to 1? Or if I didn't know the answer, I now know the answer. The answer is equal to 1 because I'm combining those and putting those together. So that's how I can recheck using these strips. Again, you just grab whatever they say to grab and you lay it down and you kind of read what you get. And so this is very useful, and you can find that in Google Classroom. Another thing that I thought of was kitchen measurements. And if you look at the bottom here, these are thirds. If you look at the teaspoon, this is a tablespoon. It's a little tiny drawing of a tablespoon. The tablespoon is equal to 3 teaspoons. And so you can also go grab a tablespoon and play with the teaspoon. See if you can get these 3/3 to equal 1 whole. So what do I have here? I've got some soda, and I've got my teaspoon here. This is 1 teaspoon. And then this is a tablespoon. So I'm going to see if I take 1/3, okay, here's my 1/3, and you have to be careful to be very precise. You want to line these up. You don't want to make too much of a mess. I tried this with applesauce, and I don't recommend using applesauce. It didn't work very well. So here we go with the soda here. I got 1/3. I'm pouring it into my thing there. And then I need to add 2 more thirds. So here's 1 more. And then here's 1 more. And if you play with this stuff, it gives you a conceptual understanding, which is really great because then you understand why we do this algorithm. So again, we're adding a numerator plus a numerator to get 3, and we're leaving those denominators the same to get 3/3. And wow, look, it ended up being exactly 1 tablespoon. So it took me 3 of these to make 1 of these, and this is another way to model the problem. And it's good for a snack, right? So That's something you can do. And then remember how I said that the ancient Egyptians kind of kicked off this style of work? This is just a reference sheet, and I'll scan this and put it in Google Classroom for you. But you could also take a look at a reference sheet and see what the reference sheet says about this type of a problem. And my reference sheet here says that 1/3 plus 1/3 plus 1/3 lines up to be one whole. So remember the ancient Egyptians, they built a lot of great stuff. You can use tables as well. All right, so I hope you've enjoyed this. This is my first lesson on how to use a model to check adding like fractions. Thank you.